We have some bad news for Seth Rollins. Although he successfully defended his championship in his match against Jinder Mahal, he did suffer a knee injury during the match. PW Torch reported this, saying multiple sources backstage at Raw say that he was helped in the back and eventually put weight on it. He is walking on his own, but with a definite limp, and will further be evaluated to determine the severity of the injury. Dave Meltzer also provided an update on the situation, saying this: "I just know that he's getting an MRI and then we'll find out how bad his injury is. Basically, I was told it could be something minor, could be something worse. We won't know until the MRI results come back." He basically said it could be good or bad news. Not sure how helpful that is. But anyway, Sean Ross Sapp said this: "The latest I've heard from WWE sources regarding Seth Rollins is that they will likely know more on Wednesday or Thursday about the injury." And then you had Boozer from BWE say that he's okay. Clearly, there's a lot of reports coming out about this story. This is a huge deal because one of the main events of WrestleMania is on the line. CM Punk's big time return feud is supposed to be against Seth Rollins. He's supposed to have that World Heavyweight Championship match in that main event. If this knee injury is serious, then that changes all of those plans. So we just gotta wait and see what happens. I'm hoping that everything is okay and this is nothing more than just a minor sprain. In other news, the Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that Brock Lesnar is expected to return very soon. If I had to guess, I think he's going to be a surprise entrant for the Royal Rumble this year. I'd love to see him and Gunther have another face-off in that Royal Rumble match. This time, though, it needs to lead to a WrestleMania match. That is the dream match everybody wants to see. If we wait any longer, then there's a chance it might not happen, especially because Brock Lesnar is a part-timer. He has his part-time schedule, and we don't know when he wants to retire. So I say let's book it for WrestleMania 40 while we still got Brock in the WWE. Dave Meltzer recently spoke about how Sting will have the power to decide what finish he wants for his final match at AEW Revolution. This is what Meltzer said: "Any finish Sting wants is going to be the finish. If he wants to go out on a loss, Tony Khan's not going to say no. If he wants to go out on a win, Tony's not going to say no. Will he pick the finish? I don't know that, but he will have the ability to pick the finish if he wants to." It's really awesome to see how AEW treats Sting. Tony Khan sees him as the legend that he is. I think that Sting deserves to go out however he wants. If he wants to win, then give him that win. If he wants to put it over the Young Bucks, then that's cool as well. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's up to Sting at this point. In an interesting turn of events, Cody Rhodes has now moved in front of Gunther and is now the number 2 favorite to win the Royal Rumble. As we know, number 1 was CM Punk, and then number 2 was Gunther for some reason. But now Cody Rhodes seems to be number 2. I think it's coming down to either Cody Rhodes or CM Punk. What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to win the Rumble? Is it going to be CM Punk or is it going to be Cody Rhodes? And now let's talk about last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. And before we get onto the show, I just want to say that the crowd kind of was whack for last night's episode, and because of that, the energy kind of felt like it was drained out of the place. If you watched Raw last week and compare the environment, you can see a noticeable difference. I always believe that crowds can make or break a show. Anyways, they kicked off with an excellent promo between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. I like the Drew and Punk promo from last week. This felt a lot more equal in terms of, both of them destroying each other. I love how WWE has made this year's Royal Rumble feel so special. Every wrestler has a reason why they want to win, and they all have beef with each other. It really amplifies the stakes. I want so many people to win at this point. Anyways, I also want to mention that I feel bad for Drew McIntyre. This man is absolutely killing it in this role. He feels like a legitimate star with one of the best characters in the company right now, but despite this, people overlook him. Like, I don't ever hear people talking about his WrestleMania plans. I don't even know who you book him against at WrestleMania 40. It sucks because he's doing some of the best work only to be an afterthought. I could see a singles match with Sami Zayn. I think that could be good. Anyways, after that, we had a really strong match between DIY and the Judgment Day. This was really good. Triple H finally gave DIY a lot of time to cook, and they indeed did cook. DIY won the match, and it's looking like they will earn an opportunity at those tag team championships very soon. The next match was Chelsea Green and Doudrop taking on Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. The match was alright. I do appreciate Triple H trying to build up the women's tag team division. I don't really care too much about it, but I think the more he does this, the more I will continue to care. Next up was the return of Gunther. He cut a promo talking about how he's going to win the Royal Rumble. He also spoke about how he was the longest Iron Man in Royal Rumble history and how things are going to end differently this time around. I don't think Gunther is winning, but I could totally see him winning at the year of 2025 if he isn't a world champion by that point. Anyways, Xavier Woods returned to confront Ludwig for basically trying to destroy and kill Kofi Kingston. The two had a match that ended in a disqualification and a brawl afterwards. Ludwig ended up running away because he was scared, because that's how mad Xavier was. This tag team match in the near future is going to be so good when all men return. It's also looking like Jey Uso will be challenging Gunther in the near future for the IC title based off of the backstage promo we saw. I have a feeling that it will be at the Chamber, with Jimmy Uso screwing his brother yet again to get that feud started for WrestleMania 40, because you really got to get Jimmy and Jey, beefing at this point. Rhea Ripley came out to cut a promo about Nia Jax, and that is when she was interrupted by none other than Becky Lynch. The two had a really excellent promo, and this is the feud that we need to see for WrestleMania for the Women's World Championship, and it seems like it's the one that we're going to get. I don't think it's happening with a Becky Lynch Royal Rumble victory, but the seeds seem to have been planted, and I feel like it's the biggest match WWE can do for WrestleMania, so I would book it if I was them. I do think there's a possibility that they do book it for the main event of Elimination Chamber, because I did see that Rhea Ripley was supposedly going to main event that show, and if The Rock isn't going to be there, if Roman's not going to be there, I think that Becky and Rhea Ripley could be a bigger match at that Chamber match in the main event versus a WrestleMania match. If I was them, I'd want to main event that pay-per-view instead of WrestleMania, honestly. Anyways, then we got a backstage Shinsuke promo saying that he's not finished with Cody Rhodes. It seems like he might be planning on eliminating him from the Royal Rumble match to end his story. Shinsuke's backstage promos have just continued to be amazing. That's all I gotta say. After that, we got a upset victory from Akira Tozawa, beating Ivar. That was alright. I didn't really care too much about this, if I'm being totally honest with you. Then there was the tag team match between Awesome Truth and the Judgment Day. This was a fun match, and it appears that R-Truth might be done with this faction because they literally beat him up pretty bad. I don't know where they go with this moving forward. I'm guessing Damian Priest is going to apologize or something like that. Anyways, I don't know. And finally, we got the main event match, Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal for the World's Heavyweight Championship. This was a decent match. It wasn't the best match of the year, but it wasn't horrible. It was just a decent main event match for a random episode of Raw before the Royal Rumble. The WWE really is booking Seth Rollins as Superman with some of the craziest kickouts I've seen in a long time. It kind of reminds me of Super Cena in his prime days. Anyway, Seth Rollins retained. There was no CM Punk screwjob or a Money in the Bank cash-in. Triple H played it safe, which might have been the best idea, honestly. The world title match will feel only more special if Seth Rollins goes into the match having the belt for almost a year when he does face CM Punk at WrestleMania. Speaking of Punk, he's going to have a face-off segment with Cody Rhodes next week. That should be really good. Anyways, this Raw was an average episode. You could have honestly missed it and you would have been fine. Hopefully next week is better. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next video.